Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Hello and welcome to Let's Sit and Talk with Frema. I do apologize for the echo. So today, you guys, we have a live studio audience. We're starting it back up again. I'm super excited. We're at Brooklyn Restaurant and Lounge, 1575 Russell Street. This will be every Sunday. Doors open at 3. Show starts at 4. So make sure y'all come out. Give you guys something different to do in Orangeburg. So today, for our live panel discussion, we're talking about domestic violence. Hey, let's go ahead and get started. I'll allow the panelists to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Miranda Johnson.
Hello, my name is Kareem Muse. My name is Kareem Muse, member of GRYSKLL, hip hop creator, hip hop creative.
I'm Angelia Ryant-Simpson, life coach and registered nurse.
All right. Well, welcome you guys. I thank you guys for coming on to talk about such a hard topic of domestic violence. And that can go in different angles. And I don't think a lot of people understand that domestic violence isn't just physical abuse. It can be multiple things of abuse. So I'll start just to spark the conversation. A lot of people are aware of physical domestic violence, men hitting on women and things of that sort. But what we don't hear a lot about females hitting on males. So I am recovering? I'm a recovering abuser. Okay, I'm just put it out there. I used to fight. Yeah, I used to fight ever since what, Angela, you would say middle school?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Ever since middle school, I would fight my boyfriends. I don't know why. I cannot answer that question. I don't know what prompted me to do it. I didn't have a bad childhood. I don't remember seeing it, or anything, but that's just something. If you ignore me, it triggers and I go from there. So finally one year, Domestic Violence Month, I think is October, we released balloons. I don't know if you were there at Qualcomm before, but we did a
I was there one time. We released some balloons in the parking lot.
Yeah. And I said I would never ever put my hands on no one else's son ever again, and I stuck to it, and I refused to do that.
Really?
Yeah, it hit me when my mom told me one day. She was like, "Okay, Frema, if CJ hit you back, I'm not saying that." And I was like, "Dang, okay, it's time for me to chill out," and I haven't did it ever since. So you guys out there, men get abused too. It's not cool. So I just wanted to go ahead and start that, start our conversation off.
I just want to bounce off what you said,
Mm-hmm.
because that's one of the things that I feel that gets lost sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
is that women, a man should never hit a woman.
Right.
Like, never. Run away. But a woman shouldn't hit a man. Nobody should be hitting nobody, pretty much. That's just how I feel. But especially, you shouldn't just, you don't mess with rattlesnakes, you don't mess with lions, you respect it, and we should respect each other. Speaking from my personal experience with domestic violence, I have it in my family. I've seen it. When I was a little kid, I've seen my grandfather mistreat my grandmother, and I always think that it's deeper than control. It's more about, it's a mental health issue. I think it's something deeper inside that causes people to do these things. But yeah, just thinking about what you said, I'm surprised at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't see you doing that. You're so professional. I know you from work, so
Yeah.
That's just like a person that's abusive. Nobody knows that they're abusive but the one that is happening to them.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody else think he's the coolest person or whatever. And not knowing when the door is closed, it's a different story.
Absolutely. I just want to add to what Kareem said, speaking from the healthcare perspective, and I am a psychiatric nurse by the way, so I'm a mental health nurse. Okay. So on that aspect of it, it's a learned behavior. It's just like any other behaviors that we learn. So a behavior that you pick up is a behavior that you can put down. So a lot of times you think that growing up as a child, you may see things, you may hear things, and that don't mean that that is a healthy way to be. But as an adult, you put those childish things aside. So it's a behavior that we could put aside just as well as we picked it up. And lots of times, you know, the people that are the abuser, they don't realize at some point someone abused them. So, well, when I said, well, the reason I'm saying that, not all instances, but in some areas, whether it may not necessarily be physical, it could be emotional, it could be a mental type of thing, a mindset. So if you're missing some element in your life, because no one's perfect, but we all are missing some elements, and we could use a little work. But sometimes it's something that you're missing that you tend to lash out because you don't have that. Sometimes people throw tantrums because they want their way. So if you were a person that used to having things your way, or you used to getting what you want, it could be a way of throwing a tantrum where you become abusive, whether it's verbally, whether it's emotionally, whether it's financially. You know, you have more than, you know, physical aspects of it. So a lot of times if we unlearn the behavior, we can look back at ourselves and we can heal. Right. So a lot of times the abusers have not healed from their wounds. So they're not realizing like they're not doing nothing but making it worse. It's like they're digging themselves in a hole deeper and deeper. And then it gets to a point where they feel like they feel as if they have done something wrong. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And then after a while, you know, they start having regrets. They feel guilty. And now they're at a point of shame. So that's how a lot of times, you know, the abuser don't want to know about it until they say it. Because the person that's getting abused 9 times out of 10, they're not going to say anything. They're not. And the person that's doing the abuse, the abuser, they may speak on it before that other person does. But that's a learning point. And I say, I commend you because you grew from that and you unlearned that behavior. You said that's not something that you want to do again.
Absolutely. And just to read some of the comments, I hope everybody can hear us pretty good that's viewing. Antonio or Antoine, I might be saying it wrong. He said, you are a bully. He's talking about me. You are a bully and you know a man not supposed to hit a woman. And I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't say I'm a bully, but I did play on the fact that a man should not hit a woman. So that's why I felt, oh, he's not gonna hit me back. You know, because I don't feel men should, not saying it was right, of course, but I did play on that.
Manipulation type of thing.
I did play on that.
And that was a manipulation from a tantrum because you didn't get your way.
I didn't get my way. Absolutely.
That's terrible.
I know it is. It sucks
because we go through that so much, and I'm not, you know, it's not a man against woman thing, but it's like that really sucks because I just want to see how people get it together. I want us to get it together.
Right. Alan said just project your voice.
The bottom line is I just don't want us to be enemies. To find more common ground, and it's amazing what's going on in the world today. It really is. It's
amazing of things you don't know that's transpiring. You know that's going on.
Yeah.
Miranda, you're not quiet.
I know. I'm trying to loosen up here.
I know a guy I used to go to church with. Let me think about it.
You should go to church
with. But yeah, I used to go to church with, and it came out, you know, that, you know, we would see things at church sometimes, and you know, it came out that he'd been beating his wife, and he was a big, you know, he was a well-known professor, you know, a well-known person, and it just goes to show you that it can happen to anyone. But I want to ask you, because you mentioned 9 times out of 10 they're not going to say anything, and I want to know why.
What I have learned in just being in a situation where I had to report these allegations of abuse. So in my profession, if they tell me, I got to do something about it. So a lot of times, the only way that I heard, for example, I heard about it through the mother's child, because he was going through some things in life. He had turmoil. He started acting out. So he brought it to the forefront. The mom didn't. So of course, when we asked her about it, you know, she broke down about it. So a lot of times people are ashamed. The abuser is ashamed. The person that's getting abused are ashamed because you feel in that moment in time, you are powerless. You have no power. So it's like, I can't tell anybody this. Like, it's too.
Well, how could I be a friend? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if my homegirl, like, how can I make her feel comfortable? Like, how do you help someone in that situation?
If you kind of wonder if they having abuse happen to them, well, you, as a friend, if you're not certain, you can't put it in stone. You didn't see it. You didn't witness it.
You saw it.
Okay, so if you saw it, okay, at that moment in time, comfort your friend. Then, when they're ready to talk about it, you have to wait till they're ready to talk about it. When they're ready to talk about it, then you say, you know, you build them up. You let them know that you are a good person. You have a beautiful heart. You have a beautiful spirit. You have a bright future for yourself. You are somebody. You do matter. Because that's the most important thing. A lot of times, people feel like they may not feel like they're beautiful or handsome, or they may feel like they got low self-esteem for whatever reason. They don't have nothing going for themselves. They feel like they're the endless road. So you as a friend, you build them up. So you know what? You're important. You are somebody. You matter to me, and you matter to other people as well. Whether they got children, whether they're part of any type of communities, you know, whether they're part of churches or whether their work environment where people are looking up to them and rely on them. You let them know that. And on the flip end of it, if you have to have that conversation with a friend that's an abuser, you need to do the same thing too. But you're going to tell them, you know, you are somebody. You know, that's not the best answer to your problem. That's the only thing different, but you still build them up. Because when it really gets to look at it on surface, both of them are broken. The abuser is broken. The person getting abused is broken. So as a friend, you not only do you comfort the person that's getting abused, you still need to encourage the abuser as well and let them know, like, you know, is help out there. What can I do? You know, there's programs, there's groups, you know, you say, well, what can I do as your friend to help you? Because I know this is not who you want to be.
But I have a question. Well, not a question, a comment. Now, they always say there's help out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's really not as much help out there as people think is out there. And I say this because I know this for a fact. Okay. When this incident happened with my sister, it only happened for help. The first thing the cop told her is, you'll go to jail too.
Okay, so to answer that question, okay, so when I say there's help, there's support groups.
But if it only happens one time?
Well, regardless of one time, that's just like an alcoholic. Once they're alcoholic, they're alcoholic. They're going to go to AA meetings forever, even if they don't ever pick up or never drink ever. But still, it's the fact that, you know, there's therapy, there's counselors, there's victim advocates. Even though law enforcement is there to protect the community and they're there to intervene, but there's also some flip ends of it. There's always advocates, no matter what crime you're a victim of, whether you're part of the crime or they're saying you're a victim. In her instance, they wanted to say make it fair and said, well, you're going to go to jail too. I can't say if that's correct.
I have to interrupt because I had a situation where I called law enforcement. Mm-hmm. You know, I wanted them to come out. We cannot come out. I think it was maybe 6 o'clock, 7, I don't know, p.m. For, what did they say, marriage disputes or something along those lines. I said, so if I'm telling you I'm about to kill this dude, you mean to tell me y'all not going to send nobody out here? And they was like, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, they would not come. I had to call a friend that was a sheriff to come escort me in to leave my house because I didn't know what I was capable of. So it's best I go ahead and leave, but I need somebody there with me. They wouldn't send nobody.
Well, I say this. I can also say on the law enforcement aspect of it, it's times that they put themselves in that situation and they've gotten hurt.
Well, they don't do the job.
Well, let me say it this way and see. I'm being honest about the both perspectives. They're trying to protect themselves, but they're also there to protect the community. And you're correct. Maybe if you can't handle that job role, you shouldn't be in it. But they're there to intervene, you know, when need be. That's why I said it's groups out there, it's programs. Here's one thing I had to learn. In situations that I've encountered, here it is, me giving advice to my patients. There's things such as CASA. There's the victim advocate. It's always a victim advocate. If you don't have one, CASA will assign you one. CASA, whether it's male or female, if you are a victim of any type of domestic violence, CASA will help you with placement. They will help you with counseling. If you're married, they will help you with divorce. They will definitely try to help you, get in a better situation. But that's not always advertised. I'm gonna say that. The only reason I know this is because
you work in the field.
Exactly. So I'm having to reach out to these various agencies, about placement for families, child protective services when the child is involved, law enforcement, but if I didn't know that as an average person, you're right, it don't look like it's help there.
Right.
So that's why I said, as a friend, remember you were saying, what would you do? You said there's things out there, there's programs. If you want to help your friend, research it for them. Because 9 times out of 10, if we didn't know, they don't know. But you're doing it as a friend. Say, hey, I saw that this particular organization can help you.
I do know the hotline.org is a site you can go to.
Absolutely.
Is that for domestic violence?
It'll get you the
For
information.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
They'll tell you what's available in your community.
Hotline.org. Miranda, let us
When
hear
that
from you.
happened to me, I don't believe that I was the first person that happened to, that he did it to. But I knew enough to take myself out of the situation. Because when the cop came in, I had bruises all over me. And he's telling me that he's going to take me to jail. I can't even walk. I can't get out the bed.
So he's basically saying that y'all were fighting each other pretty much.
He looked fine when the cop came in to the door. He told the cop I'm in the room with a headache. Now I'm scared to leave.
Right.
Because I know he got a gun.
Right.
I'm locked in the bathroom now. And he done did whatever. And I'm like, why would you do this to me? And he's on his knees in front of me. And I got up. I said, you know what? Let me go home. He said, you know what you're going to do? You're going to go to bed. I took my ass to bed.
You did what was safe because you thought about it for safety. Because if I try to get my things and walk out of this house, this man could shoot me or whatever
I had
else.
to go past him to be able to go out. So I laid there and I tried to get up to go to the bathroom. So I moved him. I said, I can't get up. He said, I just lay there. You'll be fine in a few minutes. So now I try to get up again. I said, I can't move. So I'm looking around. I'm looking for my phone. So I can't call. So I'm texting. I text my sister. She didn't answer. I text my girl. I said, please send the police to whatever address. And I need an ambulance. So she did it. I made her crazy with it, because I threw her off guard. But it was unexpected. Correct. I didn't see that happening. Because before that, we were just out. We were hopping from different places. Been to Applebee's, we were at Sir Williams, and the whole night having a good time. And they got upset about the key. And I thought they was playing, I was like, get out of here. I know you're not serious about that. Then when we got inside and I went to say something, next thing I know, he had me in the headlock, dragging me through the house. Now I don't have no clothes on. So I'm trying to get the knife out the drawer and I'm saying I can't breathe, So I pass out. When I wake up, he's dragging me on the floor out the door with no clothes on. And I'm still saying, why are you doing this? Because I'm lethargic. And I'm like, wow. Then I get outside and I jump up. The body slams me down on the concrete and lays on top of me. I had 2 broken ribs.
Oh my God.
That's some sucker shit.
Well, I had a similar scenario, and because we're open books, I'm gonna be in a scenario that I had. We were sitting on the chair at the house, and we were just talking. And I was like, "This is going left." I could tell it was not going right, and I said, "Well, I'm just gonna get up and leave, for the night, And as soon as I said it, I stood up. He pushed me back down, started punching me in my face, in my head. My jaw, like my mouth started bleeding. I'm fairly dark skinned, so I had bruises on my body where he kicked me, stumped me. He did all these things. And then after he did these things, I was like, okay. Took my phone. I can't get my phone. So I'm just sitting there. And all I could do was just pray. I was like, Lord, please just let me make it to the morning. And after he did this, he's crying, he's remorseful. And I'm just like, well, how can you do what you did and you had no self-control then, but now you can control yourself. So I couldn't contact. So the next morning, I got up and I went to work. My jaw swollen. I had to lie at work and say that my tooth was swollen, knowing that I got a gash in my mouth. So once I got to work, and the minute I got there, because he was to the point where, well, I'm just going to drop you off because he's concerned she's going to leave. And so when I got there, I worked maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2. Because I just can't do this. This is unbelievable. So I called my mom. I said, please come here. I want to work through the day. I said, please come here when I get there. She said, why? I said, because such and such has my car. And, I'm done, I'm finished. So you can come get me. I don't feel like waiting. Because I didn't want to diverge that at work. I wanted to talk to her in person. So when I got in the car, I told her. She said, well, where is he with your car? I said, I don't know at this point. I really don't care. I just need to get away from him at this point. So in that moment in time, you make the best decision that's going to keep you alive at that point. Because once they've been physical with you and you got broken bones or you're bruised and you seeing blood, you don't know what they're capable of. So you do whatever you got to do to where you can get help. And so I get it. I get that whole situation. And 9 times out of 10, that's not their first time. Exactly. They were too comfortable with it. They planned it out. They knew, they didn't pay attention to you as a woman because they pay attention to us. And they mapped out what we were going to do and how we were going to do things. And they do it at the awkwardest times. And you're vulnerable when they do these things. And imagine how many other women they've done this to. And no, we're not bashing men. That's not, but I'm just sharing my story because she shared her story. But it could be vice versa. It could be the woman that's the aggressor who's been used to doing these kind of things.
Yeah, see, I'm listening and I'm horrified, and I'm trying to figure out where is the misdirected anger coming from between us, the species. Like, why would a brother want to put you in a headlock and body slam you? Like, why?
Because maybe someone did it to them. And regardless of what we know, they may not have diverged their childhood, their adulthood, or the history of themselves and things that have happened. I really strongly believe in the research that I've studied and the abusers and the abusees that I've talked to. It happened to them. Someone did something to them where they feel like they have no control over anything else. So therefore, I'm going to force my authority over this person.
Okay, well, I've been married and I've divorced, and I've definitely felt that. I felt just powerless, and I've never hit a woman, but I know that I've done things as far as just my posturing, being aggressive. Like sometimes men don't realize just how we talk sometimes can be frightening. Yeah. So I'm guilty of that. But that was in my younger days, and I kind of grew out of that. I became aware of it. Mm-hmm. But I still have trouble with the beating. I don't like dudes that beat women, man. That's so weak. That's like kicking a dog. Like that's
a weaker,
like anything weak or baby. Right. Like you know what I'm saying? And I like you said, I do realize that people hurt people. And
correct.
I know that they're going through some things, but I'm wondering, what do y'all feel about how you choose the men you choose?
Like, did y'all see red flags?
I didn't see
anything?
That. What happened to me? I thought he would have been afraid to put his hands in. Because it's not like I don't have siblings or whatever.
Correct.
Like that. So that was the last thing I thought that he would have wanted to do.
So like, and I guess to each individual, I can say for myself, the type of person that I am, and maybe I'm too trusting. I got to be honest. I'm too trusting. I'm too naive about, with people, because you know, because this is the Bible about, let's be realistic. They teach you to love despite. They teach you to forgive and all of these things. So if that's a perspective, that's all you know, that's what you were taught, that's what you're looking at, like, okay, well, I know I'm not perfect, you know. So I can try to forgive this person. Or I know they're not perfect, they're still working on self, I'm working on me. And that's a perspective that I looked at it as. That's why I said you could be naive. I was very naive about the scenario because, you know, just having conversations with him prior to that, he didn't do anything. Like, this just took me for a complete loop. It was not expected, you know. So sometimes you don't see the red flags. Now that I know better, as a young woman, you pay attention to all the red flags, and a man should do the same. If you see a red flag, that means stop, not go. That is a stop sign.
So if they like, what are some of the like overly possessive?
Like some examples.
Yeah.
So let's say if they want to know what you're doing all the time, what you doing? They always calling you. What you doing?
You gotta know your whereabouts.
You gotta know your whereabouts, or they got a tracking device on your phone, or they're
you're crazy. Okay.
They're wanting to take your vehicle and park theirs and pretty much take you where you need to go, or you know, they get real upset when you can't even be yourself. Like, you know how you had this kinds of conversation, pillow talk about who you were before, what you did in life. That's nothing to get upset about because that is your past. But if you can't handle this conversation, that is a red flag, because everyone should be able to be themselves. You should love me or take me good and bad. You just know I'm not the person I used to be. I'm a better person now, but I'm okay with sharing with you who I was. Just as well as if you can share your past and I don't judge you, don't judge me. And it sounds simple, but being overly judgmental when you can't share certain things with a person. Like, you know, I just can't tell him or her that because
you know what they're going to say.
So that's a red flag in itself. Those are some red flags within itself.
But like with me, I was shook for a whole year behind. And I'll tell you why. We wasn't in a relationship then. We broke up. We decided that the relationship had started too quickly.
Right.
We didn't really know each other.
Right. So
we're going to go our own way. But me and the kids got into it in the house. You know, and he had just called me. He was like, what's wrong? I was like, damn kids.
Right. But just that male support.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm doing the job. Well, come over here where I'm at. And that's how it started. Then I blamed myself because I put myself in that situation. He was already gone. I should have let him stay where he was.
Right.
But I never saw that coming.
You wouldn't have saw that coming. I mean, at that moment in time, that was just male support. And I'll tell you, as a woman, ain't no woman can say, "Oh, I don't need a man." That is a lie.
That's not true.
That is not true. And any man that say, "Oh, I don't have to have a woman," that is not true. Because it was designed for male and female to cohabit. It was designed for procreation. It was designed for companionship. You know, and that's my personal opinion. You know, that ain't knocking nobody else's stuff. But, you know, they're designed to be a support system to one another. So you knew, okay, well, he caught you where you had a lot going on with the kids. He was like, well, come. So he was like, he was just saving grace. So that's why you never expected. A lot of times, men and women could come into somebody's life as a saving grace. You may have the world turned upside down, and you meet this person, and you feel like, okay, I can talk to them. You know, like they're just there to help me deal with a lot of stuff I'm going through. And they're vulnerable. They catch you at a vulnerable time. And a lot of times, more than likely, they have manipulative tendencies. They have a manipulative personality. You know, and they're going to be just who they want you to see until they get you in that intimate setting.
That sucks that we have to, like, it sounds like you already, like, on guard, like, already, like.
It ain't being on guard. It's about being particular about the company we keep. You done heard that before.
Yeah.
We heard that as children growing up with our parents. Be careful of the company you keep. That ain't just your friends. That's like for women. That ain't just your girlfriends and the guys. That ain't just your homeboy. That should be everybody. Be comfortable with the company that you keep, because you just got to be careful. I mean, and that's the truth. And like you said, with our culture and everything, we should be operating in unity. And we should. These are things that we should talk about. We should talk about these past hurt. We should talk about a damaged person.
Right.
Because anybody can be damaged. Damaged people hurt people. And that's the truth. Whether it's physical, emotional, mental, financial. I'm going to say it this way. At some point in time, everyone has been on a damaged path or a path of rampage. Everyone, at some point, you done went through something where you ain't no good to nobody right now, not even yourself, because of your mindset. So you're damaged. But until you decide to heal and repair, you don't need to intervene or mingle with nobody.
Yeah.
We even have to be, if it was for kids, we have to be careful about our communication and relationships with our children, because we don't know what bad things we could be pouring into them while we're going through what we're going through.
True.
Amen.
Amen. Look, can't really say nothing, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
So, the only thing I saw with my situation, I didn't go home. I went to my girlfriend's house for a whole month. Because if my kids
You was
saw me
scared.
the way I was,
Yeah.
I didn't want my babies to go.
Right. Because you knew, you felt at that moment in time, I know I felt shame, even to talk about it, I would cry. So it's been years now that I could talk about it. But when it was like within the first couple of years, the first 3, I couldn't talk about it. I told no one. I spoke with my parents about it, with my mother. I didn't speak with my dad. I spoke with mom about it. And of course, as a girl, you talking to your mother. Some things they keep from their father. And she knew that was something she kept from him. Because it's like she shouldn't do it, but she did. She thinking, she was doing the best thing because she know how upsetting he could have gotten. But, that's why I go back to say it's a learned behavior, because this has been going on way before us, way before we went in existence. We can't say what our grandparents and our great-great-grandparents and before that, and we don't know what they endured, because their thing was, this is what I was told, I've heard. A man can go lay out in the ditch, but a woman can't do that. A man can go hop house to house. A woman can't do that. And even with one of my grandmothers, I've heard my uncles and aunts talk about how they've had situations where he would get drunk, come home, and want to fight my grandma for no reason. None. So that's why I say it's a learned behavior. Yeah. So if you saw that as a young man.
My great-grandma,
You see,
my great-grandmother didn't play though.
She didn't play, but people before you, they saw that and they say, if they don't listen, we use a Color Purple movie. What did Celie tell Harpo? He was like, Sophia won't listen. She won't this. She won't that. Celie say, beat her. You know why? Because Mr. was beating her. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be careful. We got to just miss those generational curses that were bestowed upon us before us. And then also the people we decide to have a relationship with got to do the same. These are serious conversations to have. I'm not trying to pry in your business, but how do you feel about domestic abuse?
Oh, I asked.
You ask that question, you're gonna say, well, do you do it? I just want to hear. Because depending on how they answer that question, that's gonna tell you the perspective that they have. And then okay, that's a red flag. You're talking records, that is a red flag. If you don't see if it's submissible, that's a red flag. If you said you watch your people, I'm definitely gonna pay attention to you, because now I don't know if you picked that up or not. But that's just life, and it's about growth and development, and we have to revisit those things to move forward in the future and to unify as a race.
And like you said, don't be scared to have that conversation in the beginning.
Correct.
It's a deal breaker.
But I'm old. I'm an old guy now. But when I was younger, I had an incident with a friend of mine. He choked this girl in front of me. Choked her. It was like, real, get me a beer type thing. Hey, I'm like, oh man, that's not cool.
You said it to him?
Yeah, I was like, that's not cool. And then, we had some words, like mind my business type thing. Okay. And it doesn't matter, but it just for the story, she was Caucasian, just for the story. Okay. And I don't understand. Like, I just wonder, like, I hear these stories, and I have so many, like, almost all of y'all have some story to tell, but I don't have I know a lot of dudes, and all of them don't have stories to tell. I know I have a few friends that have admitted to, doing some things that they're ashamed of, but then for the most part, no. And I'm just curious, like, I wonder how that mentally works. What you think, man? Like,
yeah, I have a question. I wanted to know, how do you all feel about the one-way aggression? Because it seems like you said, I have a niece and she has a friend, and I kind of had to check her the other day when she was talking to her little boyfriend, and I was just sitting back, and I was listening to things. She's about 5'5". She weighs like 125. Her boyfriend, he's like 6 feet. Well, I'm looking at her like, why are you talking to him that way? And she has this attitude, like a lot of the young women today, it's like, it's the equality. So I'm equal to you, so I am the man. You can't do anything. It's like I had to tell her, I'm like, okay. I asked her if another guy spoke to him that way, what would happen? She said they would probably be in a fight. I said, okay. If another female spoke to you the way you just spoke to him, what would happen? She said they would probably be in a fight. I said, so if you know he's twice your size, why would you speak to him that way, knowing that if you just took the cops away and took everything away, if he dealt with you the way he would deal with another person, if you knew you would get hurt in that, why would you do that?
We don't look at stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's
height. Like CJ's what, 6'4"? I didn't look at that. I felt like from the beginning you allowed it. Okay, and I'm just speaking real. Exactly. You allowed me to do it from the gate. My mouth was real loose.
Now the reason I asked that question, because to bounce off of what he said, I actually have a friend that tried to break up a domestic situation. It was a young lady. She was getting into it with a guy, and my friend, he took martial arts skills growing up, so he handled himself. So he got in, he beat up the guy for her and all of that.
She's mad at him.
She stabbed him.
See? That's what I'm saying. You gotta be careful with those situations.
Yeah, she stabbed. He was helping her.
Right.
Her boyfriend off of, he was doing the job on her, and he came and saved the day, and she stabbed him to get him off of her boyfriend.
You got to be careful in
that's
in
a question
situations.
I was going to ask you. Do you think your niece did it because you would have?
No, it wasn't my niece. Her friend. It was her. friend.
No. The first.
Yeah, the first one was her friend. Yeah, that's why I was saying. No, because she didn't know that I was, listening.
Because a lot of times they do it. They see their family around.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's what I meant by the one-way aggression. That's what I meant by the one-way aggression, because I see a lot of women. I've seen women just get mad, just hit me, man. I'm like, whoa, that's a little extreme.
And then they probably never been in a situation like that. They never was abused. No one ever hit them back. So it's like, I just do it. Whoa.
Yeah.
And don't expect nothing to happen to me.
And that's what I was wondering. Do you all think that that's a part of the problem? Because nowadays it's so much. It's gotten to the point where the world is getting so we have to accommodate everyone's feelings. Yeah. So now you are telling young girls they can do whatever the boy wants, whatever it started off. I can do whatever you can do. I can do it better. Now I am you. I don't need you. I can do whatever. And then as soon as you want the same guys to protect you. Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, do you think that because of the way things are kind of moving with everything being equality, do you think that kind of interrupts the respect?
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
It does.
I agree.
I believe it does.
I think so.
Because I like old school. Pull out my chair.
Yes.
Open up my door.
Yeah,
lost it.
I don't
want traditional men, but it's like they want to be modern. They want traditions like they'll say, it's not the 1930s. But then they'll turn around and want the man to be
right, and that's the problem.
Well, and that's double standard.
No, I'm speaking. I mean, that's generalization. We know not all anything yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we are one nation. That's like
Yeah.
that's how like
I
when
really
they
feel
look
that's
at
that.
laws, they don't look at one person. They look
Right.
at it's a generalization. That's why I'm asking about the one-way aggression.
That's the issue.
Yeah, I think it's the respect. I think that boils down to everybody needs to respect each other.
Right.
Value each other a little
Right.
more.
Yeah. And what you said, just to bring that back up, when she mentioned that, I do just as much as you, I'm just as equal as you, and this and that, blah blah. Not saying we should respect, regardless of what anyone is bringing to the table.
Right.
But some women, just speaking realistically, are going to feel if I'm holding you down, I'm holding everything down. Then it's just like
They got the big head.
yeah, they got the big head. I don't gotta respect you. You do as I say, and stuff like that. So then I feel, this is just me speaking, either get yourself out of the relationship or the man need to like
Man up.
Man up.
Why be there?
Why be there or
Anyone
man
you
up?
can't respect. That's how I'm.
Yeah.
Like, why would you even
Everyone
engage
needs to know their roles.
Exactly.
They need to. The thing is, that's why I said it's a learned behavior. Just as well as we can learn to go out and be violent and be aggressive with the other one. Well, do you actually know your rightful place as the woman in a relationship? Do you know the rightful place as the man in the relationship?
Yeah. Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah.
That's one of the issues because we switch roles. So a lot of today women are actually doing what we seen our grandparents, the male and the female, their roles. But grandmother never worked. Granddaddy always went out there and worked, but grandma get up 6 o'clock in the morning, make sure granddaddy food was on the table, his lunch was packed, and dinner was on the table when he got back home. However, in today's world, we're not at home parents.
Correct.
We're out there working just like
You
a
still
man
gotta come
working
home
and
to
everything.
kids.
But you still expect me to have your food ready and everything. And if I don't work just as long as you have, take care of the kids, help homework, do homework and everything else. That's the part that we're missing.
I think she wanted to say something really quickly.
A lot of the problems are coming about because of how we're teaching our children.
Mm-hmm.
And children learn, they're little sponges.
Yep.
And how we're teaching our girls and how we're teaching our gentlemen. And somewhere along the line, nothing is being taught to people. You really have to sit down and say, do I want my child looking at me this way? It's not cute. Some of these parents think that's cute. Behaviors, what they're emulating, what they see, it's not cute, and it's spilling over
That's the
See,
truth.
to that domestic violence category.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And a lot of that was done behind closed doors. People are not closing doors and
That's
we're
right.
seeing actually what's happening.
That's right.
And also, it's a twofold thing. Children are not staying in
Mhm.
their place. People are not making children stay in their place. The old back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay out with those conversations.
Yes.
See, this is a whole
Yeah.
big realm that's going to be opened up, and it's not an overnight thing.
Right.
And I see people, and I'm from New York, but I see people saying, "Well, running to the church. Be careful about that too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a business."
That's right. I
So now
agree.
you have, it's just
Exactly.
this whole thing. So you just have to just take stock.
Yeah.
I think it starts with the family, your
It does.
your immediate family.
It depends. Okay.
Well, when I say your nuclear family, like maybe my kids, my wife, my circle, because I totally agree with what you're saying. With the social media, everything is the kids are exposed to everything now.
Everything.
I have a 15-year-old, and he's he's seen more stuff than I've probably seen as an adult. So that's part of it. Just getting everybody back on the same page is a culture. I think culture has a lot to do with it. Because I personally don't think that anyone can have everything. I don't think anyone can have it all. I think we have roles to play, and together we can have it all. But individually, I think it's hard to have it all.
It took a village to raise a child.
It does. You can't do that no more though.
No.
Because I'm gonna get my head beat if I tell you your kid did something wrong.
And me and my son had that discussion today. If somebody told my mom they see me doing something, I got my behind.
Yes.
It didn't have to be true, but I'm not going to question an
Yeah.
adult.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you just didn't do that. And you just took it and said, Dad, I got to beat you for
For
nothing.
nothing.
I want to go back to something that she said. She was saying something about the grandmother. She did this, she did that, or whatever. But back in the day, and this was a situation that happened in my family. I had a family member who her mother knew her husband was and made her stay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes, they were.
Would not let her get a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
That's
because they
that old
believe in
fashioned,
divorce? I mean,
Because
believe
they
in
didn't-
marriage?
They
Or?
believed in marriage.
That's right.
And once you're married,
You're
That's
married.
it.
you stay married.
And that's what they believe. And that's why I said with the scenario with Color Purple, of what his mother-in-law said, he told her.
We saw how that turned out.
Like, you know, like, you got to keep in mind, like, I don't understand. And that's why I said we have to go back and remove some of the stuff. Because
We
it's a
have to.
generational thing that we got to cut off right now. At the net, it got to be done and over it, because that's not healthy. It is not okay. It ain't, you don't treat a
Some
dog
women are
like
taught that that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
And that's why I say the generational stuff, that, you know, things that our parents was taught, our parents before them, and it's like we have to be mindful. If everyone now takes ownership of themselves, I don't have to live the way they live back then.
Right.
I don't have to do things. Whatever works for me and my household, and I'll go back to your question, for me and my husband, it don't matter who work, who pay the bills. If we on one
works for
accord,
us, it works for us.
we on one accord. We get on one accord, and I take ownership of myself. Then I know that's not right for me to talk down on them, be aggressive.
Right.
That's not right. People need to keep their hands to themselves. That is an agreement between that household. If everyone takes ownership of self.
But then you worrying about everybody else. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people, maybe I am the breadwinner in my household. Maybe me and CJ, he you know, it was best for him to stay home with our sick child, you know, or something like that. But then you find yourself worrying about what everybody else
say.
And how people viewing your household. We just have to stop that. They not paying the bills.
That's right. Exactly. Everybody got unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
I tell anyone, whatever works for your household to keep confusion down.
Yes.
Keep your business, as they say, keep your business in your house.
Mm-hmm.
However, when somebody's putting their hands on somebody, male or female, that's a different situation. And that's just being honest. But if everyone minds self, take care of self, focus on self, then you won't have to worry about no one reaching out and touching anyone, because you're too busy looking at you, and you don't have time to go and harm. If you got time to harm someone, you got time to be aggressive with someone, you ain't spending enough time with self.
That's true.
You got too much free time.
That's true.
But anger is a thinking error.
Yeah, it's a
It's
mindset.
anger is used to control.
That's right.
So yeah.
Manipulation and control the situation, because it wasn't in your favor. So I'm gonna do this. And it's like I said, it's more than physical. It's financial, verbal, emotional. You even got sexual abuse, as they say. They say pretty much, you know, whatever your husband wants, you have to comply, or vice versa. Whatever the wife wants, you want to comply. Technically, to be realistic, that's an agreement that you have together. It's consensual. That's what it's called, consensual. So if someone is not, whatever they got going on, it should be an understanding and a level of respect. You should feel obligated. And see, a lot of times we have that old thinking, that old mindset. So it's like we subconsciously applying that old mindset. We subconsciously doing it. And then when something blows up in our face, we look back and you say, you know what? Maybe I thought that. But that's why I say it goes back to this generational stuff. We have to realize, like, what they did to survive worked for them. And what we do now to survive and evolve and to unify will have to work for us.
Yeah. They're scared to let some households, some women, some men are scared to let go of the tradition.
Well, I think it's like, I still think it's a mental thing. You
It's
have
a
an
mindset.
issue because
No, that's what I was saying about the role. How I grew up watching my grandparents, but now in my marriage, he works. I still provide the food, you know, fix his lunch, but I work as well. You're gonna have to make that adjustment to make it equal. Because can't no one person pull everything.
right.
At the end of the day, I'm doing the same thing you doing. Yours
That's
might be manually, but I'm still working 10 hours a day
That's
too.
right.
And I'm still working when I come home and wash clothes, cook,
That's
take
right.
care of the kids and everything else. But what are you doing besides work? You're gonna have to make that adjustment to make it even and equal within that household. Because I'm worn out and you still want me to please you at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And because I don't feel like pleasing you,
That's right.
then you feel like going,
They don't understand it.
But
You want to
that's-
say something real quick?
Now I agree with what she's saying
Yeah.
100%. I just think that generationally it is an issue, but I think at times that comes out of convenience because like you said, that's some women. Like you said, grandma stayed home and granddaddy went out. That's in some families. Like in my family, my mother had 2 kids. We have no outside brothers, no outside sisters. I got one mom, one dad, and it's us. My mom went to work. My dad went to work. We lived a great life. My mom never disrespected my dad. My dad never disrespected. So it still comes back to the respect thing.
Mhm. That's
Just
what I was gonna
because
say.
you're working and just because modern day gave you a job, you might make more than me. That still doesn't give the right to short me of my respect.
That's right.
As a
I
man,
agree with that.
because if something goes bump in the night,
But that's
regardless
what
of what you're doing, my life is on the line to make sure you're
But that's
okay.
where the adjustment has to come in because a lot of people in our age range still believe in the old-fashioned thing. The woman role is this, the man role is that. But as
Not like
time
that no
goes
more.
by, things have to be adjusted because it's not like that. Now it takes a 2-parent home,
It does.
family to work.
I
Both
agree.
parents,
I
in
agree.
order to live comfortable in some cases.
I agree, but like I said, I think that sometimes that gets manipulated because I think sometimes people go back to tradition when it's
Yep.
convenient.
When it's
That's
convenient
right.
for
Come up
them.
to date when it's
That's
convenient.
right.
Yeah.
Like I was saying a minute ago when I said if a man is like, I want my woman to do this, I want a woman that it's like, well, this is not the 1930s.
Right.
But then it was like, okay, so you're modern. So now we're doing the modern thing. So when we be modern, now you want me to be the gentleman
That's right.
that was in the 1930s. So it's like sometimes it becomes a convenient thing. It's like if I feel like when we do latch onto tradition and we do take the modern ways, like you said, that's a consensual thing that should be between 2 people to decide, okay, what are we moving modern on and what are we moving traditional on? Because like I said, it's a lot of times it's like some people pull the traditional trick when it's convenient for them. You know what I'm saying?
But most of the time it has to do with outside.
I agree.
And I get that all the time.
I agree.
When they hear I pack my husband lunch, get up 5 in the morning, fix breakfast for him and our son before I go to work or whatever else. You do all that? Yeah, I do all that.
Yeah, and usually the people that are frowning up,
That's
are alone, right?
Yeah.
They don't have a
That's
family,
what
they don't
works
have a
for
marriage.
us.
Exactly.
That's what works for us.
That's
But
right.
I made that adjustment because, we do believe, and I believe the same thing. A man have a role and a female have a role. I'm not about to get out there and change no brakes or nothing like that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I could, but at the end of the day, that's his place. That's my husband.
That's
his
right.
place. That's not my place to do that. My place is to make sure he stay well so he can go out there and work. I stay well so I can go do the same. So we can live comfortable. But we have to have that understanding and we have to adjust as time go by because you can't go back and use that 30s as an example
Exactly.
because times have changed.
And see, I'm feeling what both of y'all are saying. I just want to bounce off that because I think communication is a part of what y'all are saying. Before, I'm saying this to young Kareem, before you have a baby, you discuss what your roles are gonna be.
That's right.
Before you move in together, you discuss what your roles and expectations, what they're gonna be. And that will eliminate a lot of things. I think it goes back to what you were saying about the red flags or just asking those right questions at the beginning.
That's right. You put yourself in a long-term abusive situation and not even know it. Now you done married this abusive situation, and it's going on for year in and year out. It could be vice versa. The woman could be the aggressor, the man could be the aggressor. And it's like, oh my God, what do I do now? It's like now you in another situation because you didn't address the first situation. So to me, and this is just my opinion, just to go back to our topic, to me, abuse, it starts from the small things. The small foxes will cause a lot of confusion. And it go back to the individual as a person. You know, you want to issue it out, but you can't take it. And then that's the manipulation. There comes the pointing the fingers. And now it's a heated argument. Not a heated, the argument is heated. Somebody wants to lash out, slam doors, sling stuff. Oh, you threw that out my head. Now somebody want to put hands on somebody. You know what I mean? It could go all kinds of ways, or someone could be the aggressor. But regardless of the fact is, abuse is toxic. It is not healthy, regardless of your roles you play. What work for your house, work for your house. It don't work for the next one. Everyone should just mind their self. If everyone paid attention to self, the world will be a better place. We'll be unity. We'll have love. We have understanding. It won't be divorces. It won't be these broken homes with these children. You know, it won't be none of that.
And see, I think social media is a great thing because I found the team that I'm working with now. I found them. They're in Chicago, Maryland, North Carolina. But social media has hurt us as well because it's a constant distraction. It can be for some people, and I'm talking to my son. You know, they can't live without it, and sometimes you can build these fantasies watching social media, and you think, oh, I'm gonna be in this perfect relationship, and these people are so happy. Like, I only post good stuff, man. Y'all don't know what I'm going through, man.
At all. I post a whole bunch of BS.
You know what I'm saying?
And everybody think I got about 5 boyfriends.
You a trip, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
I only post what I want you to see.
That's right.
That's it.
So we need to keep that in mind when we're trying to keep up with people, or we think, you know, the next man is the next man. So like they say, worry about you.
I got a comment. I think she hit it on the head. I think family, like, as far as the domestic situation, I think that would really minimize that a lot to get back to family. Because as I look around, like in today's generation, the one thing that I see that's not promoted is family.
That's right.
It's like I know little girls that they want a kid, but they don't even want a relationship.
They just want the baby.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of, like, I think now, if we did more pushing of family and being together, it would give folks an outlet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like marriage. You don't, like my grandfather used to say, you don't wait till it's raining to fix your roof.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why marriage counts. Before you get married, you go to counseling and try to make sure you know, iron these out. You know, I think nowadays there's so much of an emphasis to keep it moving. Just drop it and keep it moving. There's no emphasis for nobody to want to stay to make anything work. And if it is any problem, there is no way, like, young men need outlets to go to speak on that.
Right.
Right.
Just like when young women, when they feel something, they need outlets to go speak to. But who can we go speak to? Because, like, with men, it was always a older man that was around me that could, you know, actually look for it, you know. But when I look around, I see a lot of the young women today. It's like I see women scared, afraid to actually speak to other young women because, like, you can't talk to her like that. So it's like if we can't say nothing, and the women that's actually got it together and moving, if they can't, who can? Like, where are we going as a?
We got to start somewhere.
Well, how about this?
That's why I'm doing my all male.
Everyone here challenge themselves. Whether you've been in your marriage, however many years, whether you're single and dating, what situation you have, challenge yourself to make it your business to have just a decent conversation with a young woman that you see that want something in life, that want that family unit. Same thing with you. I was going to tell you, challenge yourself, Kareem, to have a group for those young men and have the outlet. You know, because you know, if they don't have the direction, who's going to lead them? They lead each other. The blind leading the blind. So, you know how we'll share, we talk about bad news travel fast.
Yes.
But nobody wants to share the good stuff, you know, about it. You know, before you get to the point where it's abuse. You know? Right. So it's a build up to that. But if we challenge ourselves to share those helpful informations and, you know, tips and things like that with each other, I feel like we can unify people. Like, because we're sharing it. If we don't teach young ladies, I feel like I'm in the middle. You know, I have some older and I have some younger. But if the older don't share with me, I don't got nothing to share with the younger.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, I could keep running the same cycle because no one told me any better. Granted, you got your parents, your grandparents. However, if we want to get away from the tradition of things that we saw, like the color purple, not saying everybody's situation is like that where it's dismissible, but if we want to get away from that and start something new and positive, we're going to have to start this.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And it can start from one person, making a change in one person's life, and then it'll constantly go forward. So hope this helps somebody. So y'all, we're at our hour. I really appreciate you guys. I enjoyed the conversation. I hope people took this, learned from it, share it, what have you. Next week, we'll be talking about relationships. So that will be coming up on January the 30th here at Brooklyn Restaurant and Lounge, 1575 Russell Street. I think after the 30th, we got one more Sunday before that, but Super Bowl Sunday, I'm going to jump to that. We're doing an all-male panel, and we're inviting all-male audience. And that kind of lead into what you guys were saying. That gives them an outlet. You know, they can hear it from men's perspective, and hopefully it'll go somewhere. If the crowd is enlarged, fine. I don't care if it's 2 people. I still feel like we're doing something, you know, and eventually it'll grow and they'll come in and enjoy these conversations with us because we definitely need it. So again, I thank you, Angela, Kareem, Miranda. I appreciate y'all sharing y'all stories, you know, and this and that. Don't judge me now because my bad mistake. But I learned from it. I will not do it again. So thank you guys again. I appreciate all of you.
Yes,
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. And as we always say on Let's Sip and Talk with Friends, peace and love.
Peace.